Hey guys, Fishmonger here. Exciting news in the world of tech today. First off, don't fuck with me in laser tag. Laser Woman will kick your ass. Yes, I'm Laser Woman. Apparently you can now get USB drives in poop emojis. That's a thing. And apparently Nvidia rocked the world with their exciting new RTX cards with this ray tracing stuff that's supposed to revolutionize gaming. So yeah. And due to the fact that information on the DMV is public domain, I can't actually give you my personalized license plate information, but let me just tell you something, I am the motherfucking fishmonger. So I'm sure you've heard the news like a lot recently if you watch YouTube videos, random stuff about all that kind of crap. Nvidia's got their 20 series of cards that they've confirmed, and they're going to be out, and they're going to have exciting new features in their tensor cores and their deep learning cores and all their, what do they call those? The not deep learning, cores in the 20 series cards. Well, anyway, okay, so I forgot what it wasn't like the deep learning, it was like their artificial intelligence cores or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so ray tracing is like this new thing now, and it's not really a new thing. It's been around for a really long time, but apparently the fact that it's being done in real time is supposed to be like really exciting and all this stuff. And look, you know, don't get me wrong, pretty video games are cool, and I like pretty video games, and I play pretty video games, and I enjoy pretty video games. But a video game to me isn't the best, or like what makes or breaks a video game is not how good it looks. It's the game and how well it plays and basically how much fun I'm having with it. I mean, case and point. I will challenge anybody to a game of chess or checkers or backgammon or whatever. I love simple board games. And they don't need to have fancy, schmancy, fucking ray tracing graphics and all that shit in order to make them fun and exciting. The game just has to be, you just have to, it's just got to be good. It's got to be enjoyable. And obviously that's going to differ from person to person. Some people are just into, yo, my game's got to look pretty, man, and that's what makes it cool. And that's fine, you know, to each their own. But for me, no, I really don't care about that. I mean, I was looking at some of these demos. Where were they here? Like, okay, so hold on. Here's Mass Exodus. We can watch this for a second. This is the official GeForce RTX trailer for this, and it's telling you, yeah, here's with RTX on, the real-time ray-traced global illumination, and yeah, it looks cool. I mean, look at that. You got like all the lighting and the shadows and all that kind of neat stuff, and this is probably displayed on a 4K screen, which I don't even have. And okay, 20 times time-lapse play of gameplay location. So I don't know why it's a 20 times time-lapse. Like, for whatever reason, they're playing it in 20 times speed. Because this would probably be really boring in 1 time speed if they really did that. So anyway, yeah, this is with RTX on, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so, like, it looks nice, you know? And then you look at, okay, RTX on. Where's the one with the off? I mean, how am I going to fucking... Okay, that's great. So this just shows it on. I was hoping it would, like, show both before and after. But, yeah, so it looks pretty. All right, hold on here. What's this? Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Exclusive ray tracing video. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, we got sound on this one, too. Ooh. Okay, this game looks fun so far. Wow, so you stand around in a area where there's a whole bunch of people eating, and you just spin around, and you look at things, and you walk. Oh, okay, you're walking now. That's an exciting game. Yeah. You're walking, and there's people around you. Oh, and they're speaking in non-English. So someone translate this for me. Okay, anyway, you get my drift. The game, it looks fine. It's got all the neat shadows and all that shit. But I'm not gonna lie, man. I will play games on my GTX 1050. Sometimes I swap my cards around. I'll throw my 1060 or my 1070 in here or something like that. And half the time I'm playing a game, you know, I'm just kind of concerned about how the game is playing and the smoothness of it and all that crap. All the little fancy schmancy lights and all that crap that go along with it, they don't really excite me that much. You know, I turn half the time I turn off shadows. I don't care about shadows. Like, unless it's in a game where, you know, it's a first-person shooter or something, and the shadow will actually allow me to see somebody, like, around a corner or something, like, from behind a wall. I don't care about that. It doesn't add anything to the immersiveness of the gameplay or something like that for me. I'll just turn the shit off. I was watching a couple of videos here. Steve from Hardware and Box has some pretty good words here.
So the GeForce 20 series looks to be a bit of a money grab in my opinion. A stopgap to 7 nanometers, if you will. I think the plan is to cash in now on the RTX hype and then deliver the real goods next year. After all, the RTX name change is designed to make you think that your Pascal GTX 1080 Ti, GTX 1080, and GTX 1070 are now heavily outdated, so give gamers the opinion that they've got to dump that GTX dinosaur and get in on the RTX action. And
Great point, because the GTX, the 1070 Ti's, the 1080s, the 1080 Ti's, they'll destroy games that are out nowadays in like 4K, like no problem, depending on the game, and have like absolutely zero issue. And, the thing is, the majority of the gamers out there do not play in 4K. They're pretty much pushing like 1080p or like maybe 1440p monitors, and they're trying to like maybe do like 120 or 144 hertz. Not a lot of people game or even like have systems that run at 4K. I mean, maybe your TV does. A lot of people have like TVs that are 4K, but not necessarily computer screens. But to push the envelope with the power that much more beyond the power of a 1080 right now is just kind of ridiculous. It's almost like owning a V8 fucking Corvette and you're like, yeah, I got this fucking V8 Corvette, but it's not really fast enough for me. I need like a V10 turbo, because you're never going to use that amount of power, at least until 5 or 10 years from now. They build the roads down the street from you that allow you to actually unleash its full potential. But by that point, there'll be another car that comes out, like a V12 something that's going to be better than what you got. So why bother investing the money into the architecture and the power if you're not going to use it? As far as money goes, Chris from the Good Old Gamer had some good points.
The bottom line here is that these new video cards will not have better price to performance than the current GPUs out there. Especially with the incoming discounts that I'm sure we're going to be seeing, 10 series cards will perform better per dollar than these new Turing GPUs. However, Jensen made it very clear during this presentation that it's not a fair comparison. The new Turing architecture is so different that comparing it to Pascal simply doesn't make sense. That's why they came up with their new, basic metric there, the RTX ops. So it's really hard to say what's going to work for you. If you guys want the latest and greatest and you want all of the visual fidelity, you have to buy these GPUs. Newer games are going to take advantage of this moving forward. Now, the tricky part about this whole situation is 7 nanometers. We already know that 7 nanometers is in production, and AMD's already using it. This is clearly not a 7 nanometer product due to its large die size. And the fact that they're launching the 2080 Ti at launch and ignoring the people that would buy the 2080 and then upgrade to a 2080 Ti if it came out 6, 8, 9 months from now, that's missed revenue from Nvidia. This tells me that this is probably going to be a short life cycle because of how...
Yeah, I kind of agree with that also. The fact that they've got this whole new architecture with all these new bells and whistles and everything, but they're still putting it out on 12 nanometers. They're doing this because they've got no competition right now with AMD or Intel, because they're apparently getting into the video card game system as well. The fact that they can do it is why they're doing it. And it's going to be... to say the performance... I can't lie and say the performance isn't going to be good. It's going to be good. But it's not worth the $1,000 for the new card that you're going to get right now. Unless you have like some kind of crazy fucking 8K or 4K monitor system on like a huge ass display. You need to run multiple displays. You need all that horsepower. You absolutely must play the best games and the highest fucking visual fidelity in VR. And you've got money to burn. You don't need these cards. A 20 series card is perfectly fine. I'm sorry, a 10 series card is perfectly fine for everything that you want to do. With today's games, and even the games that are in production are going to be coming out in the next 2 to 3 years. And the fact that, mining is taking a shit right now. In fact, where's the profitability calculator right now? A Nicehash is throwing a GTX 1080 at 10 cents a kilowatt hour, which, by the way, in a lot of places it's actually less, really? It's not 10 cents, it's like 14 cents a kilowatt hour. I think it's like the nation average. A 1080 is making about 15 cents a day after electricity costs right now. Nobody's going to be buying these cards for the fact that, you know, they're going to get huge profits and huge returns when they're mining on these things. In fact, if anything, people are getting out of the game. eBay and all these other sites, Hardware Swap on Reddit, you know, people are selling their rigs left and right, man. So to spend $700 or $500 or $800 on a 20 series card when you can get a 10 series card, like a 1080 for just a couple $100, is just going to be ridiculous. And I think this is one of the reasons why Nvidia is putting their stuff out now, is they know that there's going to be a huge inventory of all their 10 series cards basically hitting the used market at very considerably cheap prices, that they needed to kind of put something out to get a revenue stream now. Otherwise, nobody has a reason to buy the new... If the 20 series cards were just faster than the 10 series cards, again, nobody would really buy them because the 10 series cards are fast enough. The fact that they needed to put this ray tracing shit in there, basically as, and I'm going to call it a gimmick, basically as a gimmick, because it doesn't really add, it doesn't add anything to the gameplay of the game. It just makes it look prettier, you know, and looking pretty is one thing, but playing and having fun is something different. So I used to play this game a long time ago. It's called Giant Citizen Kabuto. It's actually on Steam right now for like $10. If you got $10 to burn, man, definitely recommend you get this game. It's an older game. It came out in like 2000, so it's like 18 years old now. But when this game came out, it was breathtaking, and it was a game that was filled with the visual fidelity that you'd expect to play on a game on a computer system from 2000. And one of the big things about this game that came out is it had what's known as hardware transform and lighting, and that was basically, normally transform and lighting and all those calculations were done in software, but now that it was done in hardware on the video card itself, freed up a lot of computer resources for the CPU to actually do a lot of things instead of the GPU. Instead of the CPU doing everything, the GPU does that, and they kind of share the load. When this game came out, I'll show you a little clip of it here. Let's play this fucker. Watch the ground coming up here in a second. See how that did that? All that moving and stuff? That was like revolutionary for the time. Like, polygons didn't move and warp like that. It wasn't a thing back in the day. But this game, I bought this game. I don't even know why I got it. Oh, it came on a demo disc from Maximum PC, and then I think I played it so much I loved it, I actually bought the game. This game looked great, but the reason it kept me and I loved playing it was because the game was so goddamn fun. I had so much fun with the game. Yeah, it looked pretty and everything, but the game was fun. You run around as like these little dudes. They're like, they're called like Mecharians or something like that, and they've all got like British accents, even though they're like aliens, and they talk about like banging chicks and getting drunk all the time, and it's just, they're fun little dudes. And this chick is like, I forgot her name, Delphi or something, and she's like, in the first original version that came out, she's like topless, like running around, which was like a big thing for like the games back in the day. But like she's got some cool spells and shit that she does, and she's fun to kind of play with as a character. She's got a great sense of personality. Everybody in this game, minus this dude, that's Kabuto. He doesn't have like a personality that's kind of fun or anything. But the interactions and the story arc and everything about this game was like absolutely hilarious. Like this dude here keeps, like, he's apparently like half blind or whatever, and like he keeps talking about like his nutsack and just like all this sorts of stupid shit that like makes the game fun. And it was a fun ass game, and it was, you know, in a lot of the computer magazines back in the day, it was like, you know, hardware transform and lighting, you know, Citizen Kabuto, like, oh, look at the fidelity, look at the game and all that stuff. But, you know, what kept me to the game was not the technology, it was the gameplay behind it. So all these new games that are coming out, you know, there better be a reason for them to be played other than the fact that they have ray tracing. Because, you know, I mean, Hello Kitty could have ray tracing. That's great. Does that mean it's going to be a fun game to play? I don't know. Maybe. I never played Hello Kitty before. I'm not going to knock it. But, you know, if it looks pretty, that's one thing. But it's got to play good is the other. Now, I brought this up also. This is GameDebate.com. Not 100% accurate, the information on here. But it just goes to show you the GTX 1080 versus the RTX 2080. You know, what are you getting or how do you compare the two? You know, the core speed on the 1080 is actually higher than the 2080. 2080 boosts higher than 1080. It's Pascal versus Turing. We don't know the OC potential, so they're just saying it's fair here. There's no drivers out right now for it, so you can't really, you know, label it. You're talking about 2016 versus 2018, only 2 years apart, right? And what do you get? Well, the low resolutions, they're all scoring 10s. Even higher, 1080p, they're all scoring 10s. 1440, you've got a 9.5 versus a 9.80 rating. And in 2160, you get a 7.4 versus 7.6. These are really close numbers. Like, yeah, the 2080 is winning, but not by much. Like, it's not a very large margin. Both got 8 gig of memory. The memory speed on the 2080 is going to be faster. It runs at the same memory bus, but it's GDDR6 versus GDDR5X. This is actually a typo. It's not 56 gigabits per second. It's actually something like 444, I think, gigabits per second, which does beat the 320 that's over here. And that's substantial, but still, 320 gigabits per second is a lot of speed to begin with. Cache is the same size. This performance metric here for the memory performance is off because this number is not proper for the 56. You're talking, 400 more shader processing units, which it's not going to make or break any kind of game. The technology, this is on 60 nanometers, this is 12 nanometers, which is still better, but not by much as far as what you're doing. I mean, you still need 180 watts for this one. Where's the power? A lot I saw. Oh, it's 225 watt max power versus 180 watts, so you're going to be consuming more power to get the the performance that you need. Texture mapping units, 184 versus 160, not a large jump. Texture rate, not a large jump. Pixel rate, it's actually higher over here. Go figure. I'm not sure if that's a typo or not also. It's at 97 gigapixels per second. I'd have to look into that. Max does, it's not telling me here, but, it's a lot of the performance and a lot of the specs on these things are pretty much comparable. So if you've got a 1070 or 1080 card right now, unless you want ray tracing, there's like no point in going out and getting a 20 series card. I mean, the prices look like they're going to be pretty decent, assuming they stay that way and they don't get jacked up for, whatever reason. But I don't know, man. I'm just not buying. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, and I don't think it's going to be a good investment for anybody unless you absolutely must have the best of the best. So that's Fishmonger's 2 cents, if you want to call it that. So I am out. I'm going to be calling it a day. I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.